UIW head coach Kiki Lara. Coach, getting ready to start this 2025 season. Just give us some general thoughts on you and your team heading into the year.
General thoughts for us would be we're just in process. We're really bought into the idea of just being in process, being where we are right now, and we have a good group of returning nucleus is strong, and then we've added a good group of people to what we have as well that I think fits really nicely.
Before we talk more specifically about this year, let's talk about last season and what your team did, and then especially in the conference tournament. You have a winning record in conference, and you beat Liberty, shut Liberty out, and you fall just short against SIU, just 1-0. Just talk about that and how that motivates the success you had there, but how that motivates your team to take it further this year.
Yeah, I mean, um, that goes back further than last year. I think it's been a steady growth process for us over the past few years. And, years like last year give us a little motivation to, I didn't say added motivation, but I think the nucleus that's been here, that's rising into their junior year, their senior year, they understand, what we've been after and are working very hard to bring a championship to UIW. And so we know that we've made some gains. We've had some close calls. And I think everyone's very driven and motivated to get over the hump and bring a trophy to UIW men's soccer. That'd be our first trophy in the Division I era. And that's just everybody's main focus.
Give us a breakdown. What's your roster percentage of returning players and newcomers this year, and how did you kind of put all that together?
Um, Roster breakdown, we've got very strong, healthy group of seniors um, and juniors that is bought into and knows what's going on, has been with me throughout this process that I've been here in this era. And then freshmen, sophomores, I mean, we have, um, you know, 3 or 4 in the starting lineup. I think in my mind, if we were to start tomorrow, that they got a lot of heavy minutes as freshmen last year that are doing very well. And we brought in like for likes into this class, some 6 true freshmen, about 4 or 5 other transfers coming in with experience. They were successful in their environments where they come from. So, and they're like for likes. I mean, what I mean is, when we've started to really make our progress and our jump into relevancy, I think in this conference and specifically just Division I in general, the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that have gotten us to that point, the program builders that have gotten us to that point, we've gone and brought in a handful of freshmen, true freshmen, and transfers that I really think are like for like with some of those really good figureheads that have been a part of our program. So we're excited to just continually build the direction that we've been going. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, well, so we did a players to watch list. You had Roshane Baker as one of a player to watch, but you got many. Can you talk to us about some of the players that maybe an outsider who doesn't know your program as well should be watching this year?
I think an Alejandro De La Torre, he's coming in. He's got this is his final semester with us and older head, really took his time to get his shot. He got his shot. He played very well last year. He's coming into his final year of eligibility. We've got Daniel Esaldio, I think comes underneath the radar a lot in the way that he kind of goes about things. An excellent player, excellent leader for us. Paco Segura, he's been with me for all 5 years I've been here. He had some injury troubles early on in his career, and he's playing some of the best soccer that he's played in his career here, and really knows the program up and down. Knows it. Been with me, like I said, he's almost as old as my own 7-year-old. I have a 7-year-old at home. He's Paco's with me as long as him. So I think that those guys kind of fall underneath the radar in terms of some of those accolades that can sometimes come our way, but they're very, very important to this squad and will be very important to this squad this fall.
You've talked about some of that experience. Maybe it's this, maybe it's not something else. As of mid August, what is the strength of your team? And do you think that's going to be a strength all year, or do you think maybe some other strengths might develop?
No, I think the strength of our team is exactly what that is, the team. I think that's what we're really going to concentrate on. Um, I think we fell short of that last year. I think we in 24, I feel like we maybe lost sight of our team at times during the year. That's something that we really focused on in the spring. And I think this year, it's been since last spring, honestly, since January, we've been really focusing on being a team, um, going through the ups and downs of the season together and um, just really just staying together, and really supporting one another, expecting a lot from one another, driving one another. I think that the strength of us this year will be the team, and that'll be the hope going all the way through November if we can get there.
This is the third year of OVC men's soccer. What have you learned about the conference, the people you're playing, the first 2 years?
I mean, great parity, great coaches, great players. Um, this isn't a league where you can just. Um, we had to be prepared. Like I said, the coaches in this league have been doing it a long time. They're experienced, run good programs. We have a lot of respect for every team in the conference. Obviously, I've spent 5 years at Eastern Illinois as the head coach, so I love the program. I love Charleston. So there's just a lot of emotion behind it. I think that we're all very thankful to have the league. We're all very thankful to kind of to be able to compete. So I think it's a great league, great league for us, and it's full of some very experienced individuals that run good programs. So yeah, that's what we've learned.
Have and obviously geography plays a part in rivals. Have you seen any rivalries develop with schools outside of Texas, in 2 years, like just close games or or maybe that's still to come, but thoughts on sort of making new rivals that you didn't have 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't think there's any specific program that's a rival necessarily. I mean, all of us coaches would agree that, and I mean, we've been doing this long enough. As soon as you hit conference, it's a whole new season. A lot of times we have like the preseason, we have the non-conference, then we have the conference, then we have the postseason. So in each kind of period through the fall, they all bring different challenges and the conference itself. I mean, I think every one of those teams, it's an absolute battle. So I don't think there's a specific program per se, but we all know how important these conference matches are going to be for us.
Well, before you get to the conference matches, right, you have to play some non-conference matches. Can you talk a little bit about your schedule and how it came together and like I know some are return games for last year, but you got some really good opponents on there.
Yeah, we do. Um, we've got SMU, we have Pittsburgh on the schedule. Gonzaga comes back and returns to us. We were last year there at their place. And we've had some good battles back and forth the last couple of years. Uh, you know, some teams come into UIW for the first time ever, which I think is really cool to start the season, right? And Drake, UMass Lowell, Pacific. So I think that's really cool playing new opponents that we haven't faced and being at home to do it. I think it's great. Anytime you can kind of, um, you know, play inter Texas, I think it's always great for families, friends. These are people that are able to get to the game and to be a part of it and watch their loved ones playing. I think it's great. So we have some local matches. Great, RGV has always been a battle. SMU is been a great battle. And then something new for us going to Pittsburgh and playing out there. I think is unique as well. Something that we want to provide. I mean, obviously, this experience is we were brought competing for championships. We want to be prepared for conference. I think we're going to be able to do that in some of the teams that we're playing. We'll be prepared for what we have to face. But more importantly, we want to provide an experience for our student athletes to, get a um, local experiences, but also things that they haven't, things that they haven't seen, things they haven't done. That's important for us when we build out the schedule.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time and just best of luck to you and your team all season long.
We look forward to the season. Thanks so much for having us.